So in this video, we'll be talking about a very common defect encountered during chocolate production, which is your chocolate bloom. So here's how we are going to go about with the lecture. First, I'll introduce you to the case surrounding this topic, which is chocolate bloom, and then we'll discuss the process itself. All right, so let's dive in.
A chocolate cheesecake manufacturer was contacted by his distributor, a bakery owner, for receiving a batch of cakes that had white mold like appearance on it and had lost its sheen. He tasted a few samples. Some of them were grainy, while the others had no taste alterations. Owing to the safety of his customers and fearing the loss of his brand reputation, he returned a few samples to the producer for detailed analysis and requested fresh batch of cakes. Let's look at this case closely. A chocolate cheesecake manufacturer received a complaint from one of his distributors about product turning moldy and losing its sheen. Now, this cheesecake manufacturer has been in business for some time now, and he knows most likely the issue is not mold growth, as chocolates have very high sugar content and reduced water activity. So, the next obvious reason is chocolate bloom. Chocolate bloom is a well known phenomenon to all chocolate lovers and manufacturers. There are two types of blooms that can be seen in your chocolate products. First is your fat bloom, and the second one is sugar bloom. Although both result in loss of shine and appearance of chocolate, the mechanism by which they are formed differ due to involvement of two major macromolecules in food, that is fat and sugar. So when we are studying a phenomena like fat bloom, it is quite challenging. Why? Because there are several reasons resulting in fat bloom in your chocolate product. It depends on whether we are dealing with chocolate as a product itself or as a topping on other products, just like this cheesecake. The most common cause of fat bloom is in plain chocolates is polymorphic transition of cocoa butter crystals from beta 5 to beta 6, imparting your end product, which is chocolate, a hard sensation when consumed. So, the ideal polymorph for a pleasant mouthfeel in your chocolate products is beta 5 polymorphic form of cocoa butter. If it is beta 6, your product becomes crumbly, soft, non glossy, and non snappy, which will not be perceived well by consumers. A common cause of polymorphic transition is improper tempering of chocolate. Second cause of fat bloom is migration of liquid oil from fat rich fillings like pralines, nuts, or cookies. This is essentially attributed to presence of mixed triacyl glycerols with differing melting points and also its concentration. Suppose you have a zone in chocolate which has higher liquid oil, then there is movement of oil from the center of the filling to the surface of the chocolate where the concentration of oil is lower through diffusion. Finally, when the product is stored at a temperature that is not suitable for chocolate, then there is melting of cocoa butter. On keeping it back in fridge, there is recrystallization of cocoa butter. But at this time, during recrystallization, instead of forming beta 5 polymorph, it forms beta 6 polymorph. Why? Because this reaction is thermodynamically favored due to reduction of free energy of the system. Occurs typically when stored at temperatures that are above ambient temperatures. Okay. The second phenomena, which is sugar bloom, occurs when sugar interacts with moisture present in the form of condensate or present in chocolate itself. The sugar first dissolves in water, and if there is temperature fluctuation, the water evaporates, leaving behind large sugar crystals, imparting a grainy mouthfeel to our chocolates. So, on the left hand side, you can see this chocolate has fat bloom in it. When you zone in a particular area, you will be able to see that the grayish white streak is nothing but crystallized cocoa butter. So how can we differentiate between the two types of bloom if both yield chocolate that has lost its shine? One way to differentiate between the two types of bloom is by rubbing the product. If the streaks disappear, it is most likely fat bloom, but this is only in the initial stages of fat bloom. Once it's advanced, you can't, you can't make the streak go away. And if the streaks are grainy, it is most likely sugar bloom. Now, a question may arise: are these chocolates safe for consumption? They are perfectly safe for consumption as it is not some sort of microbiological instability of the system, but rather physicochemical instability of your chocolate system. But why do you want to study if the product is safe? It is only because the sensory appeal of your product is lost, so it will not sell to customers. So, what are some of the steps that our cheesecake manufacturer should implement to produce bloom-free cakes? From the previous slide, it is evident that bloom can occur either due to compositional factors, processing conditions, or storage conditions. So, we have to ensure that necessary precautions are taken during each stages of manufacturing. For fan bloom, tempering should be done properly. Both under and over tempering can result in generation of unstable polymorphs. We need to ensure that cocoa butter is in beta 5 polymorphic form throughout the shelf life. This can be done by adding emulsifiers to the chocolate system. Second, temperature should be monitored throughout the process, especially during storage and distribution. Respecting cold chain is the key. And if we need to bring chocolate to ambient temperatures, then acclimatize it before bringing it to higher temperatures. As for sugar bloom, avoid condensate formation. Then proper storage temperature should be monitored, not just during storing but also distribution. So respecting the cold chain is essential. Finally, proper handling and packaging of the product. Packaging material should be such that it should have good moisture barrier properties. Thank you for staying with me through the lecture. In case you have any queries, please feel free to put them in the comment section and I'll get back at the earliest.